All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Imagine that. No Chris Paul, and you open up on the road, and you take game one, 117-101, and you have 31 assists, which is your high for these playoffs. As Chris Paul, an innocent bystander in this one, but they swipe the home court edge from the Houston Rockets. Inside is coming your way next. Charles, Kenny, Shaq, one-of-a-kind insight, and all the highlights you could possibly want. Inside the NBA is presented by Kia. Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Kenny, and Charles, 2 days after dispatching the champs, the San Antonio Spurs. No, but just saying it's a great start to the playoffs.
He's played great, but let's don't go crazy.
He's taken it to another level.
I mean, like, I can say,
give the man his props.
I'm not saying
the man made the list.
Plenty of stuff you can pick apart, but having 3 triple-doubles.
Well, you play more than 8 games, though. You do know how to 8 games.
I know we will add on to that.
The first 8. 3 times. Give the man his props.
Pretty harmless stat.
Well,
harmless
it wasn't harmless for me and Kenny.
Well, obviously, you were taking it very personally because I guess you weren't on the list. Anyway, boy, the Houston Rockets with their turnovers. 24 in this game. In the last 2 games, they got away with it in Game 5 against Dallas because they won that game, but they've had 45 turnovers in the last 2 games.
You know, they were very, very lackadaisical with the ball. Maybe it's a week off, maybe they didn't respect their opponent. They were just cool tonight. You know, they're going through a lot. They didn't come out with the killer instinct. And, you know, Clippers just stayed with it, and, you know, they smelled blood and they won the game.
Yeah, I agree, 100% agree with Shaq. The Rockets came out, whether it was the week off, I'll give them a little pass on that, but they didn't play with energy. Like sometimes when you don't play for a week, you don't make crisp passes, but you do play with energy. They play with no energy. Kevin McHale said it during the interview. But the thing that bothered me, man, they didn't respect their opponents. They kind of mailed it. They're like, because, you know, Doc even said it. They had like a 10-point lead. They're kind of like, oh, well, we can screw around and beat these guys. And then what happened, then Reggie said something during the game. If this game is close down the stretch, these guys all got their confidence now. Because you look down the stretch, Austin hit a shot, JJ hit a shot, Matt Barnes hit a shot. If you let players get confidence, but this game was about 2 things, in my opinion. The Rockets being very casual and not playing with energy. But listen, they didn't respect the Clippers now. They could, like, we can beat these guys.
Hey, our friend Bones, Brent Barry, is going to be working, I believe, the Golden State game tomorrow night on TNT. And he took note. He was watching like a hawk tonight, obviously, and was watching our Between Games segment, at which time you thought without Chris Paul, Clippers would not have a chance in this game. Isn't that not correct, TK? Well, then where's that tweet? Oh, here it is. On this series with the Clippers going 7 against San Antonio and now opening up in Houston with no Chris Paul.
I think the Clippers got no chance. I didn't think they had a chance with Chris Paul, but they're just not deep enough. The Rockets.
In the series or in game 1?
Either.
So it wasn't a tweet from Bones. It was a text from Bones requesting that be replayed in the post-game show.
No, but Chuck, I got your back. You know what? Everything Chuck said is correct. However, Houston can't have that attitude.
Yeah.
If Houston going with that attitude, what happened tonight,
Thank you, Shaq.
Same thing will happen.
I mean,
everything Chuck said is correct.
If the guys come to play,
exactly.
If they have no chance.
You know what's strange? Strange to me though? You can look at these series and say, well, here's a team that's well rested. Let's see how they do. Like Washington hadn't played in a while. They go to Atlanta, the number 1 seed, and win game 1 on their floor.
But they didn't. Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, I always say the mental focus of a champion is different. There's a different mental focus. And they don't look at these opportunities as a day off. They look at these teams as these opportunities as blood in the water, as a shark. So these guys, a championship team would have said, oh, what kind of opportunity we have? This is it. And then the energy level would have been different. And honestly, the Clippers and the Houston Rockets, the thing that we've been saying about them for years, the reason why we didn't feel they could be champions is their mental fortitude, their toughness. He used to say Chris Paul is the toughest guy and he can't beat it. Like, now it's coming to fruition for the Rockets tonight, where the things that we said, they don't have that mental fortitude. There's no way that they should not beat the Clippers in a playoff game without Chris Paul.
I got another question for you, but I'm going to wait on it because we want to hear what Kevin McHale had to say. Spoken like a true champion, Kevin McHale, 24 turnovers leading to 34 points
but Ernie,
for the Clippers.
Like sometimes, you know, we talk about this. Sometimes we make this thing out bigger than it is. You have to play well. Kevin you can see, like, I can't believe that this team won 7 games. They're without their best player, and they had more energy than us. We got the much younger team. We're the much deeper team.
And we had 7 days off.
And we had 7. Like he has to be like, and like he said, we didn't even play with any energy. Like we had a 7 days off.
Five nights actually.
You can play bad. But I think he was just telling by his voice, he was so frustrated by the lack of energy.
Here's my question that I was going to ask before we went to Kevin McHale. And you heard Reggie Miller say it late in the game. He said if he's Doc Rivers, he doesn't play Chris Paul in game 2.
I agree with him.
Take advantage of you've already gotten your split. But
that's the worst thing about this Rock. You know, Kenny was talking about, to me, if I had been the Rockets, I would have said, guys, let's put our foot on their neck tonight. Because you had to be thinking like, if we want to set the tone, and they would have put pressure on Doc to play Chris in game 2.
But what do you do now in game 2?
I don't play Chris.
All right.
I don't play Chris at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a free game coming up. I don't play Chris at all. Now you're looking at the next game is Friday. He's been probably going to be almost off a week. I mean, the big winner tonight, I still think the Rockets are going to win this series, but the big winner tonight was Chris Paul because he's not playing in game 2.
I'll tell you what, I think we're all in agreement not to play Chris Paul. But a lot of people always say, well, what does that mean when you say put your foot on their neck or you shouldn't play hard enough? And playing for a great coach, Dean Smith, he used to always categorize what playing hard meant. And I would imagine if you showed the film and you say, here's an opportunity for a 3-on-2 fast break, and the third guy is not running, and it all of a sudden becomes a 2-on-2 fast break. But in fact, third guy runs. He runs into the lane, then you have an easier shot. That's the things that champions do. That's the effort. They make 2-on-2 fast breaks into 3-on-2 fast break. They make 2-on-2 defensive into 3-on-2 defense where there's 3 guys back. That's the effort that Kevin McHale is shocked that he probably didn't get. And that's what champions do. There's no way around it any other way. You could talk about skill. You could talk about the greatest players that ever played, but they played with effort, and that's why they're champions.
Ernie, let me tell you another example. The Chicago Bulls tonight. Ain't no doubt in my mind they said, hey, man, they got no Kevin Love. They got no J.R. Smith. We can't let these guys get their confidence because we can't come here and go back home 0-2. They're missing 2 of their 5 best players. Yep. And they showed the energy they came out to start the game. They put their foot on their neck from the beginning.
The highlights of that game still to come. Meantime, the MVP voting, the Kia MVP of the NBA, it is Steph Curry. Great stuff by Steph Curry. When we come back,
great ending.
Cavs with a home court, but without 2 starters as the Bulls come to town for Game 1. The highlights from the Q.
That guy was not ranked in the top 100 high school players.
We move in the Bulls versus Cavs playoff history. It is the iconic image. Michael Jordan over Craig Elo, round 1, 1989, the game winner in Game 5 of that best of 5. Now, as great a rivalry as they've had in the last 10 years or so, they've only met in the playoffs once in the last 20 years. LeBron and the Cavs knocking out the Bulls in 2010. As their conference semifinal began Monday night, the Cavs had the home court, but didn't have 2 starters. Kevin Love out for the postseason with that dislocated shoulder. J.R. Smith sitting out a 2-game suspension for knocking down Boston's Jay Crowder. Bulls and Cavs, Game 1 from the Q. And the highlights go like this.
So Mike Miller can't guard Gasol or Noah.
Hey, Joakim Noah said exactly what you said when we were talking about the Rockets. And he said we came out with the right focus.
Yeah, because they understood, because if you give the Cavaliers a sign of life, if they win Game 1, they might win Game 2. They're missing 2 of their 5 starters, 2 of their 5 best players. When you got somebody down, you can't give them hope. It's interesting, Ernie. Kenny and the Rockets beat us in 7-game series twice. I knew in my mind there was a game that I was saying to myself, and I would never share it with my team because you never give up in a series. But I think there's always a point in a series where you're either going to win a series or lose a series. I always believe that. I thought, again, example, when the Spurs didn't win Game 6, I didn't think they were going to win Game 7. They had to win Game 6. So when we were up 3-1 on Kenny them, I said in my mind, we got to finish these guys off tonight. And they beat us. Then the series starts over again in my mind. I said, we win this thing tonight, it's 4-1, it's over. But if we don't win tonight, Now we got to go back to Houston, and it's going to be very difficult on us to win back in Houston. And then Game 7 is a toss-up game.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought that you could tell the Spurs, like, hey, we got to come out and put our foot on their neck. And now it's a very difficult series for the Cavaliers.
And I read his mind. And I said, if we win this, no, I'm just playing. But no, I do want to go back to the Acker Jordan thing for 1 second.
Take your time. We got all night.
No, yeah. Only thing is, I know that they're looking at changing the rule.
Don't change it.
No, this is what I say,
Don't
Shaq.
change it.
If you're changing the rule, why are you penalizing the team that shoots well?
Don't change the rule.
I say this. If you want to change the rule, that guy shouldn't be allowed to play until the last 2 minutes of the game.
Listen,
he can't play from 2 to
me,
5.
Since it's named after me, don't change the rule.
Now it's named after you.
Yeah, since it's named
you
after
don't
me,
even
don't
like
change
it.
the rule. I don't like it because it don't work. It didn't work. It didn't work for the Spurs. Didn't work for the other team. As you see, the guys who are the subject of.
I've been on a team with Larry Smith.
Larry
Smith, a great rebounder of all time, missed 15 straight free throws.
Leave Mr. Mean alone. I love Mr.
He's the greatest one of the greatest rebounds I ever played with.
Okay.
But I'm saying, why are you penalizing the team that can actually?
Adam Silver, don't change the rule.
Don't change the rule,
Yeah,
or
change it.
penalize the guy who can't shoot
No,
the free
no.
throws by
Listen,
saying you can't
no.
play this time.
Listen.
Go ahead.
All right, so what about a guy in the fast break and he don't dunk and the fans don't get their money? Don't be penalizing guys because they can't shoot.
It has nothing to do with
What are
fans
you
and
talking
money.
about, man?
If you on a fast break and you can't dunk and the fans wanna
Everybody
see you
can't dunk.
Okay, everybody ain't great shooters. Don't change the rules. That's all you got to do.
We're not.
Because you know what?
Why are you arguing with us and agreeing with us?
Because
Because
you're trying to say.
because that's our show.
No, I mean.
No, he's agreeing with us.
No.
And arguing with us.
I know.
No, but this guy talking about, oh, no, if you can't shoot, you can't play.
No, because one of the rules they were thinking about, it was penalizing the team and saying you can't foul a guy.
Don't change it.
Why are you penalizing the team who can shoot?
No, don't change it.
Penalize a guy and say he can't play.
Hey, man.
Don't change it. What?
You agreeing with us? Shut the hell up.
Yeah, I am agreeing with you because it don't work. You know
we
it
come
didn't
back,
work. Punk.
Preview of the Tuesday night doubleheader, which features two
Ernie,
unbeaten teams.
Pull me back, Ernie.
Don't hold him back, Ernie. Let him come over here and get this right hook.
John Wall and the Wiz. And the NBA's MVP, Steph Curry. You'll see him tomorrow night here on TNT. When we come back, San Antonio Spurs are out. What about the future? You're going to hear from Greg Popovich when we come back. We can only hope that that your lip syncing skills are better than your singing skills, and we're going to find out all about that on Wednesday night of this week. It is
Purple Rain.
the lip sync war
Lip sync, not
presented
singing,
by Tidal, and it's going to be during this program inside the NBA.
You do know that he got the perfect lip
Wednesday
for
night.
them big old soup coolers.
So hopefully you guys are all ready.
We're looking at another man's lips on national TV.
Hopefully you guys are prepared. So over the weekend, San Antonio Spurs were dethroned. The champs losing in 7 to the Los Angeles Clippers. And when you see what might lie ahead for San Antonio, and you look at their free agent list from Kawhi Leonard to Duncan to Ginobili to Danny Green, well, that was on the mind of Greg Popovich when he met with reporters on Monday. So what did you get out of that Greg Popovich answer, Kenny?
Well, I thought that was very insightful because that's probably the first time where he's admitted that the era of the big three is moving in a different direction. And has also sent out some messages to some high quality free agents to say, we are looking at you, we want you, and we will implement you into this mix, and you will be a key part of it. You won't be a sideshow of the big three. You will be the show to start the new big three along with Kawhi Leonard.
The man that you nicknamed Big Fundamental, Tim Duncan, 39 years old. How much longer will he play?
Probably still has 2 years left. Because, even though he put up big numbers in the playoffs, they don't really require him to do that every night. And then, Kenny makes a great point. Popovich just did a great marketing job right now of saying, hey, come on. And, we all know that the Spurs do a masterful job of, bringing in certain players to fit their system. So, if he comes back, they're going to get free agents. They're going to go to Europe, get some more pieces. They're going to make it right for him, and hopefully they could, better compete.
You stuck by your guns during that series and said the Clippers would win it. What do you think the future holds for San Antonio?
I think two things. I think Tim Duncan playing going to depend on who they bring in because he can't be one of your best players at this age. He's got to be a role player. The number one thing they got to do is re-sign Kawhi Leonard. He's their best player. So they've got to re-sign him. And I do agree with Kenny. That was a subliminal message. Like, we're going to probably pay Kawhi, but we probably need – they definitely need a big guy, a big-time free agent to come down there. But they're going to still – listen, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker still got some juice left, but they need a big-time free agent. And those other role players, they can mix and match. But if you got three guys who are all-star caliber, you got the best coach in the NBA, great fans, the biggest fans in the world. It's a great city.
The biggest fans in the world. Hey, I have one other thing. I'm not at it. I get what he's laughing at, and I know what you meant. That wasn't subliminal.
It was subliminal. Yeah,
that was not subliminal. But, the other part is, and I hate to speculate, but, Portland, LaMarcus Aldridge. You put him down in San Antonio with Tim Duncan and Kawhi
Marcus
Leonard.
Gasol.
They're back. They're back. And I think that's the message he's sending. LaMarcus is obviously from Texas. He's knows the area really well. So those are subliminal messages that he was getting out.
What's going to be very interesting, Ernie, this summer in the NBA is the Knicks and the Lakers, they got all this money. But if you go to San Antonio, you're probably going to have to take a pay cut. So that's what I think.
But you got state taxes.
I understand.
But LA and New York state taxes are different, so it kind of matches out.
Not the money. But if you stay with your team, we're talking like Carmelo got an extra $30 million. Right. You're not going to make that up in taxes. But the Lakers and the Knicks going to have all the extra money, and they're going to have to overpay for free agents.
I'm not going to lie, Chuck, and this is his true story. I got traded from Sacramento to Houston, and this was the days when they used to hand you your check. And I get my check, and I thought they gave me the wrong check because of the taxes wasn't in there. It was over $20,000 in taxes on one check. So you could imagine the amount of money that these guys are making.
You can only plant so many tomatoes. Back to wrap it up on Inside in just a minute. What's in a name, we ask? Some impressive numbers next in another sponsored Nito.
Oh, we on a roll!
It's a wrap. I had a joke
Our
Inside.
He's back.
Presented by Kia. For Kenny and Charles and the guy named Shaq, Ernie Johnson. See you tomorrow.